Good evening, guys. Hope you are doing well and enjoying the weather in Pakistan and KSA as well. So let's we start our remaining portion of element 5. Yesterday we discussed about inspection, audit, difference between internal and external audits. We discussed all these things yesterday, and we also discussed about the how to develop a good HSE report, what is non-conformance. We discussed all this yesterday. So today we will discuss about incident investigation. It's interesting, and let's we continue. Sorry, I think the outcomes go wrong. The page is gone wrong. We have to start from element our this one, slide number 38. We have to start incident investigation. Why we need to investigate an incident? To identify the causes, to the root cause of the incident, to prevent the recurrence so that this will not occur again, then to collect the evidence. And it's a legal requirement that organization or the employer must must do the incident accident investigation for the insurance purpose, for the staff morale, disciplinary purpose. If we find that this one is the guilty, who is faulty, so the organization after investigating they can give fine, they can give punishment to the volunteers, to the violator. So to update the risk assessment, and when they have appropriate incident investigation, so according to that they can update their risk assessment, they can adopt additional control measures. So here we have types of incidents. We have near miss, an unplanned unwanted event that had the potential to lead to injury, damage or loss but did not, like something who might harm, something, an event which may cause harm but didn't did the harm yet, but it have the potential to cause harm. That is a near miss. And accident is an unplanned unwanted event which leads to injury, damages or loss. Accident is something which exactly happened in shape of accident, and it caused some injury, some loss, some injury to humans, some loss of property damage case, or loss to environment, damage to environment. These are the accidents. So injury accident, where the unplanned unwanted event leads to someone sort of personal injury, that is known as injury incident, where someone personally get hurt, get injury, damage in any shape of the body. So damage only accidents, where only the property or the assets get damaged, that is known as damage only accident. So dangerous occurrence, a specified event that has to be reported to the relevant authority by statute law. Dangerous occurrence is something when there is something serious happened, like serious leakage of gas, serious flow or the outbreak of hazardous substances, a flow of the hazardous material, chemicals which is in the big amount, a major quantity, then need to inform the relevant authorities, the local legal authorities who can control them. What is ill health? A disease or medical condition that directly attribute to the worker. Any injury or any sickness or any ill health which is related to the work, like a person working in a factory and he keep listening heavy sounds of the machines, and later on after 5 years, 10 years, his hearing capacity becomes low, the sensitivity becomes low. So that is a type of ill health. Yeah, also the dermatitis, like skin problems, if they are exposed to the skin irritants, solvents, skin irritant materials, then they get skin allergy later on. It's not quick, but it's later on. So level of investigation, more minor incidents investigated by the line manager. Line manager have to investigate the incident so that he can implement the control measures on the workplace. Major incidents, more complex events or incidents with high potential need to be investigated. Investigator team should be safety specialists, senior managers, technical specialists who know exactly what happened in the work, how the process and how the operation is going on, and then worker representative, the people who witness the accident, the event, they are required to attend that. They are required to be in the safety investigation team. So discuss the first thing you should do when arriving at the accident scene. Guys, whenever you are going to the accident scene, what you have to do first, isolating the area, barricading, protecting the area, incident, protecting the scene. Okay. Consider what type of equipment you might need to assist you. Then we are going to first aid. When an incident happened, immediate call is going to the first aid or to the male nurse or to the medical team on the project. And when you as a safety professional reach there, your prime responsibility is to ensure that the medical team is available on the site. They reach to the site and you must isolate the area so that nobody can enter in that area. Maybe it lead to more severe or more difficult in the accident. So basic investigation procedure, safety of the scene. Yeah, safety of the scene is the area safe to approach. Is immediate action needed to eliminate danger before casualties are approached? Like maybe there is a leakage of chemicals, some hazardous substances, so need to secure the area so that others will not go and will not get hurt. Then the casualty care, the person who get damaged, who get injured in the incident, need to give him first aid case, then hospitalization. If we need a hospital, then we need to send him to hospital, then the other medical treatment which is following in the hospital. So the basic investigation procedure, step 1, gather factual information, collect the facts, find out the reasons what happened exactly without any lie, without any misunderstanding. Make sure the correct information is collected. Analyze the information and draw the conclusion. Then analyze the information, check how it happened, what are the other factors, then go to the conclusion. And in step 3, identify suitable control measures, like what need to put more in the control measures so that we avoid reoccurrence. Then plan the remedial actions. The remedial action, like going back to normal, then you have to plan that. These are the 4 steps. So now we will discuss the step 1, gathering information. See, secure the scene. Immediately secure the scene. Identify the witness. Who are the people who witnessed the accident. Collect the information, photos, sketch, measurements, notes, samples, even interview from the people, and examine the document. What you have collected, is it fine, or the people are giving wrong statement? Okay, then witness interview technique. You have to interview the witness. Take him to a calm room, to a peaceful place, let him drink water, let him feel comfortable, then ask him what happened exactly, and ask this 2-3 times. And what he gives to you, just write down with you, note down and take his signature on the statement. Ask him to give you a written statement. Ask him again who damage, what damage, where damage, when, which time it will damage, why, what is the reason, how is the procedure going on when this accident happened. Take all information from the witness. And then document examination. The third thing, site plan. Examine is the health and safety policy available, risk assessment available, method statement and the methodology of the work is communicated to the employees or no, safe system of work is available, permit to cease work system available or no, maintenance records of the equipments, machines is available, previous accident report, check the sickness record of the employees. Then in examining the documents, these things are counted. So then on step 2, analyzing the information. What are the immediate causes? Unsafe act or unsafe conditions? So unsafe act is when a person doing a job in unsafe manners. And unsafe condition is the person want to do safe jobs, but he don't have the adequate safe working platform. He don't have the safe tools, he don't have the safe equipment, he don't have safe scaffolding, etc. These are the unsafe conditions. So what are the root causes, and they are also known as underlying causes, reasons behind the immediate cause, why this happened, what is the wrong in the procedure. Often failures in the management system, like there is no supervision, no PPE, no training, no maintenance, no checking, and inadequate or no risk assessment. These are the factors which are the root causes, like why this happened. And then moving forward, forklift truck accidents. Okay, just as example, immediate cause, failure to secure the pallets. He didn't tie the pallets when he is lifting. Poor positioning of the truck close to the pedestrian access. Pedestrians are passing and the truck is parked in the same area. aggressive braking by the driver use immediate brakes, inattentive pedestrian steps into the path of the forklift. When the lifting or the unloading of the material is going on, nobody is there to take care of the pedestrians. The pedestrians come to the way as normal and they get hit by a forklifter. So what are the underlying causes? No training for the driver. The driver don't have a training, lack of segregation of vehicles and pedestrians. The pedestrians and vehicles are using the same route. Poor driver induction. Driver was not given induction. He don't have idea about the pedestrians and the frequency of the pedestrians walking in the walking surface, walking area. Poor truck maintenance. The truck maintenance was not done, and then no refresher training. The refresher training which need to be given to the employees weekly, bi-weekly is not available, is not given. And then step 3, identifying the suitable control measure. This is very important. For immediate cause, you need to clean up the spill. If imagine there is a spill, so you have to do clean up the spill, replace the missing guard, whatever gone wrong or why this spillage happened, do it. Maybe the container without cover, the container don't have adequate cover and adequate protection to avoid him to fall. So do that, reallocate the trailing cable. If there is slip trip or fall accident, just reallocate the cables, remove the cables from the walking surface so that no one can get slip trip and falls. And for underlying causes, it's difficult because it's relating to the system, it's relating to the procedure. It's more difficult, it need to make changes in the management system. And step 4, plan the remedial actions. Dangerous conditions must be dealt with immediately. Any dangerous conditions must be handled immediately with immediate effect, without delay, without waiting for another accident. And you have to advise interim action, corrective action which need to be taken immediately and possible, like suspending the work in the area, isolating the area, turning off the machine, switching off the machine, sending the people to the assembly point. These all are the examples when we take remedial action, immediate effects. But in the long term, we need to go into the procedures. Like introduction, introduce induction training for all new FLT drivers, forklift truck drivers. The priority is medium. You can do it in 1 month. These are the things which we are going to eliminate the root causes. It's taking time. So who is responsible? The warehouse manager. Okay, here we have end of section quiz. What is the main reason of reporting? So that we can find the trend analysis. We have idea about why incidents happened. What is the main reason for investigating? To avoid the reoccurrence and to keep the morale of the employees high. For the insurance purpose, and it's a legal requirement. Who might investigate minor? The minor line managers only, or the immediate managers, and the major group of specialists where safety specialists, line managers are included. Who might be a major incident be investigated? A big spillage, a big leakage, or a big problem in the system need to be investigated. What are the 4 key steps in the incident investigation we have just discussed? Okay, then we have internal incident reporting. Reason for reporting incident: to trigger the provision of first aid, so that we have idea, we are prepared, the organization will be prepared about the first aid cases, like which type of cases we are facing. Preserve accident scene, so that the accident scene can be preserved, can be isolated to avoid the entry of unauthorized people in the accident scene. Enable investigation to be carried out to prevent reoccurrence. Legal requirement to report some incidents, record of civil claim, so that they can claim to the insurance or whatever as per the contractual requirements. And then we have barriers to reporting. Why the reporting is very less in the projects? Because mostly the employees, they are not aware about the reporting procedure. Reporting procedure is not clear in the organizational policy. It's difficult, and there is a blame culture of no reporting, peer pressure. The people are thinking, okay, leave it, we have nothing to do. And maybe the system is very lengthy. People are thinking that if we report it today, tomorrow they will call us for witness, again they will call us for statement. Maybe some blame came on me, and the poor management response also is a reason, also a barrier to less reporting of the incidents. So accident record contents: when an accident happened, when we are collecting the record, what we need to do: name and address of the casualty, name of address of the person who got injured, date and time of incident, location of incident, which area, what is the work, detail of injury, which body part get injured, head injury, foot injury, leg injury, whatever, complete details, and then details of treatment given, what first aid given, and what happened in the hospital, description of event, what was going on, like they are working in scaffolding, they are working in excavation, they are dealing with the heavy equipments, they are dealing with heavy machines, and this description of event and details of any equipment or substance, how it get hurt, which equipment hit the person, and witness name, their contact details, who witnessed the accident, their contact, their name and contact number, so that can contacted in the future, detail of person completing the record, and the signatures need to be recorded in any incident case. So internal and external incident reporting will depend upon the severity. Internal to directors, to the senior managers, human resources, HR department, health and safety team, environment team, workers representatives, supervisors. These are the people who have to report internally the minor issues. And there are some major issues, family of the casualty. If there is a big issue or big injury happened, we are reporting to the family of the person, family of the casualty. External authorities, to the municipalities, to the health and safety authorities, insurance companies, public relation advisors, we need to report externally the accidents. So externally reportable events, some incidents need to be reported to regulator by law, like if a fatality happened, need to report to the relevant authorities. Major injuries, like injury to many people or even to one people, but major injury like a permanent damage of leg, a permanent loss of arm, dangerous occurrence, a big leakage, big material flow, and disease. If any spreadable disease founded, started, need to report to the health authorities. Lost time injuries, if there is a LTI, lost time injury, like one person he stay away from the work, absent from the work because of occupational accident, that is known as lost time injury. These need to be reported. So data collection and analysis of data. What is the trend in incident rate over the past 5 years? Like we need to check, we need to count everything, why incident happened, what is the frequency of incident, where the most common types of injuries, which type of first aid cases or accidents happening, which is the body most frequent injured, like it relating to the lower body or upper body. All these things we need to find, and then we can analyze the data. Action, and here we have lesson learned. Lesson learned is something which we learn from an accident, and then we apply the control measures in our workplace. Action taken as a result of incident published internally as lesson learned shows company's commitment. Yeah, why when companies showing a lesson learned, it means they are trying to stop the same event in the future. This is showing their commitment for health and safety, and it allows improvements to be made and maintain confidentiality. So element 5.5, full level of reviews. That is a good point. Sorry, just a moment. So here we have level of reviews of OHS management system. When and why, who will review? Full management system review, it's reviewed by the board annually. It's a annual requirement, and the board of directors, the senior top management, they are reviewing the health and safety management system. And then health and safety team or the management team review, it's every quarter needs to they are reviewing after 3 months as per the set schedule. And departmental review monthly by line managers. The line managers, they can review monthly the OHSMN system to find out that is it working efficiently or not. So why we need to review? The reasons of having regular reviews: are we on target? Like what are the targets and objectives we set? Are we achieving that? Are we going without first aid cases? If not, why not? If not, if we are not achieving our goals, why the accidents or incidents are happening on the site? What do we have to change to continually improvement? What are the changes required? So we find that in our workplace every week there are 3 persons getting the first aid injury. Maybe it's because of poor housekeeping. So what we need to change? This this is the reason why we need to review. Essential part of management system. Yeah, the management system, it's essential part. That's why requirement of ISO certification that management system should be reviewed. Okay, then performance indicators. This question coming every time almost in the exam. Compliance with legal and organizational requirements. This is a performance indicator. Performance indicators means such indicators which are showing our performance is good or bad as relating to health and safety. So the compliance, if we are complying with the local authorities or the legal standards, means we are on good side. Accident and incident data, corrective actions, if we are doing that, it means we are on a good side. We can check the data that very less number of incidents happen in the workplace, means the workplace is relatively safe. Inspections, surveys, tour sampling, the record of inspections, the frequency of inspections, number of inspections, and the closeout, absence and sickness data, quality assurance report, audit reports, monitoring data, external communications, consultation results, achievement of objectives, actions from previous management reviews, legal and best practice developments. These all are the factors showing the performance indicator. If they are in good numbers, if they are showing a positive, that means the organization is working in a safe manner. Say we just give an example of absence and sickness data. If the absence record is maintained properly and we find that in a period of a year, very few or like 1 or 2% people or very few in numbers people get sick because of work, it means the organization is working safely. But in the other side, we found that almost half of the people get injured or get sick because of the workplace, sometimes first aid injuries, medical case. It means the organization is not doing the safe, is not going with the safe system of work. So the outputs of review, the benefits of review is management report, minutes circulated, management conduct a report like we review and we find these drawbacks in our system and we need these improvements. We need to put these actions as control measures. So it shows, it will be the minutes of meeting prepared, like what happened, what is the agenda, what discussed, what is the closeout, and it's circulated with everyone, the record maintained, then action closeout. Like this is actions required and these actions are closed out in the specific time frame, in the specific time scale which is mentioned by the management. Annual report to be to shareholders. Yeah, we need to share the report with the shareholders like client, consultants, other contractors and the authorities. It gives us an opportunity for continual improvement. So what is continual improvement? Review evaluates performance against standards, action taken as a result to improve. What are the actions? The senior board, the senior managers or the board of directors, they take an action to and they set a targets, they provide more resources, they check every level from junior, middle and the senior level, they review and they identify these things need to be improved. So it helps in a continual improvement. The junior managers, they are finding out daily or weekly or monthly. So in a month they have a record that these type of incidents happening more. So we need to adopt a control measure. Then they are reporting to the middle managers. Sorry. And middle managers reporting to the senior managers and also senior management reviewing it in the annual review. So here we have end of section Q quiz. What should an organization carry out review of health and safety performance? We just discussed what should considered in the management review of health and safety performance: the targets, the goals and achieves, the sickness record, absence records, insurance claims. All these are being considered as monitoring, as a performance indicators to check that is the organization working in safe manners or no. So guys, our element 5 has been finished. So let me know if you have any question, any doubt in this. Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay, fine.